AITA for not letting my GF call me a certain nickname? I am not Oop. Oop is you. Stop banning me 1600. Originally posted to r, am I the asshole in r, relationship advice. AITA for not letting my GF call me a certain nickname? And NBSP. Original post November 12, 2023. So long story short, I've been with my GF for a while now and she has this cute nickname for me which is kinda cringe, but I see it makes her really happy when I let her call me it, so I've always been okay with it. The problem is that I asked her out of curiosity how she even came up with this nickname, and she told me she originally made it for her ex after he won her a prize at a fun fair. This has really pissed me off because she's using a name she made for her ex after they specifically shared a moment together. For me, the part that annoys me the most is that every time she uses that name, her ex will 100% come up in her mind as the nickname is specific to a certain event shared between the two of them. I've spoken to her and raised my concerns about this, and in fairness to her, she has been understanding. She got annoyed with me at first but has since stopped using that nickname. The part that makes me feel slightly guilty is that since she stopped using the nickname, she clearly hasn't had that same smile she once had. To be honest, I think she wants to use that nickname so much so that in her head she can try replace me with her ex, but I am an overthinker, so maybe I'm completely wrong here. AITA? Verdict. Not the asshole. And NBSP. Relevant comments. Pinu. I know you spoken about it. Otherwise you wouldn't know where the name came from. I meant talk about her losing that smile like you said. I can see her being sad about not being able to call you a certain name anymore. But seeing the history, she should realize why. Not like you don't have a valid reason for disliking being called that name. I'd ask her why she insisted on calling you that, knowing the history of where the name came from. I'm usually one to overthink everything and always assume the worst, but I dunno. I think there's more to it here somehow. I hope you guys can work it out. Overthinking is genuinely the worst, and I do feel guilty about this. In my mind I've thought that maybe she was cheating or something, but if I'm being fully rational, I think that's a slim chance. I have been cheated on in the past, so I'm not arrogant in thinking that could never happen to me. But she doesn't show any signs, and she's always spamming me throughout the day of whatever she's doing, and she's over at mine a lot, so I do doubt there's something fishy going on. And NBSP. Update November 13th, 2023. Now let's get into the update. So first of all, I'd like to just say thanks to everybody who gave me their advice. It was genuinely helpful, and so I'm truly thankful. Now on to the update. So my GF came over tonight as expected, and she actually bought me Call of Duty MW3, which I wasn't expecting at all, but massive W anyways. Well, I ordered us some food and we sat down and just done what normal couples do for like the first hour, because to be honest, me being the idiot I am, actually forgot I had something serious to speak to her about. There was a point where I can tell she wanted to use that nickname for me during our conversation. And then I saw her stop herself and she looked kind of upset, and it was this moment I realized I was meant to bring up this issue. To save you guys from all the boring details, I basically started off by telling her I needed to speak to her about something, and she just sat and listened to me. I started off by telling her I do love her very much, as per the advice given to me here, and that I want her to tell me exactly how she feels about this nickname situation, because I can clearly see it's been bothering her, and the last thing I want is for her to feel down. She basically told me that I shouldn't be surprised that she was bothered by the situation, because I know that pet names are her love language, and because I told her that she shouldn't use nicknames with me anymore, I was basically stopping her from showing me affection in the way she loves. She said she didn't mind not using the nickname that I had an issue with, but she felt I didn't have to stop her from using any type of nickname with me. I was completely lost at this point because I never told her that she couldn't use nicknames. I just said don't use that specific one she made for her ex, and then we both realized this was one big misunderstanding. She was under the assumption that I had told her to stop the whole nickname thing entirely, which wasn't the case. Honestly, the way her face lit up when she realized that she could still use pet names with me made me so bloody happy. After we cleared up that matter, I decided to ask her why she kept using that nickname with me, despite her making it for her ex. She told me that she never really saw it like that when she was using the nickname. She said that the nickname was just something she found really cute, and it captured a moment where her man made her feel incredibly happy. She also said that because she wasn't with her ex for that long, about 3 months they dated, she didn't feel that it really belonged to him because that nickname was only made about a month before they broke up. She also told me that she uses this nickname with me far more often than she did with her ex, because I always make her laugh and smile, which is what this nickname embodies for her. She then reassured me that she absolutely wholeheartedly loves me, and when I told her about me overthinking this as her trying to replace me with her ex, she let out a small giggle, saying how incredibly silly I was for thinking that. Now that I look back at it, I was an idiot for thinking that. Rolling on the floor laughing. She told me that not once did her ex pop up in her mind when using the nickname. She just genuinely felt it belonged to me, and that I am the only person worthy to be called that in her eyes. Anyways, we both let out a massive sigh of relief, and I finished this conversation by telling her that after hearing all this, I wasn't just okay with it if she wanted to still use that nickname, but I would be honored, and she told me that she wants to give me a new nickname, one that's fresh just for me, because at the end of the day I make her 100x happier on my worst day than her ex could make her on his best day, and so the nickname she was using wasn't strong enough to show just how happy I made her. Moral of the story: speak to your partner ASAP if you ever have an issue, because one simple conversation could solve it all. Also, one thing I've learned from this is that my GF really takes this nickname thing seriously. Like, I always thought it was just a cute thing for her, but she really does put a lot of emotions behind the names. P.S. What gift do I get her now? Because I wasn't expecting her to get me MW3, and now I have to get her something, because there's no way I'm letting myself take her gift and not surprise her with something in return. And NBSP. This is a repost sub. I am not oop. The person who invented the term love language has so much to answer for. You can tell she was upset cause she got him MW3. I wanna know that the nickname was Manic Pixie Dream Girl says nicknames are her love language and smiles her secret smile just for me. That's some pretty serious crossed wires. Good thing it wasn't a very serious situation. They do need to work on their communications, because how do you even get into that knot? Pet names are her love language. I suddenly feel very old. Today is a great day to be old. If nicknames are her love language, what does it mean that she couldn't even come up with one only for oop? Any translators? Lol. A lot of people in this thread ripping on this couple. I get the idea of this love language stuff being pretty annoying, seemingly immature. But in this context, it's being used as a tool for self-expression within the context of a relationship, and while not entirely accurate, as a tool it has served its purpose for healthy communication, which is something so important that these young adults are maturely displaying healthy and open communication beyond their years. We see a lot of adult marriage breakdowns resultant of poor communication here. And it's genuinely refreshing to see these young individuals being capable of such mature and open communication, even if the tools they're using to do so seem a little foreign, out of place to us. Yes, the phrase, "that's my love language," is often a huge red flag in most circumstances. But within this context, it's being used as an effective tool for healthy communication. And I, for one, am proud of both of these young adults for being able to engage with each other in such a way. This interaction should be met with encouragement, not derision. Weird advert for Call of Duty MW3. Goddamn, this comment section is a mess. The number of people who are downright offended by the term love language is actually hilarious. It literally means that that's how OP's GF expresses her love. Depending on OP's country and language, it can be something generic or super specific. Why the heck is there so much judgment against a 19-year-old who reused a name? Her explanation seems valid enough to me. Let's be clear, getting MW3 is not a massive W. Nicknames are a love language now? I think I'm getting old. The teenagers are starting to annoy me. 1. Never thought I'd see a nice ending for once. 2. Never thought the term love language would be ruined for me. Just thought of it as something basic like, do you prefer gifts or would you rather just cuddle, etc. Just preference basically. Like for me, who doesn't care about physical gifts regardless of price for the most part. I would rather get a hug or a day hanging out. These comments are depressing. I read this post thinking it was a rare nice story on here where those involved were able to have an adult conversation and solve their differences. But as usual, Reddit users see the worst. The term love language does make my eyes roll right back in my head. But they're just young folks, and every generation introduces new vocabulary that others can't understand. The GF seems kind of dim. Luckily they are 19, so she might grow out of the oblivious stupidity that created this situation. No, nicknames are her love language. Guys, it's just her love language. Wholesome smiley face. Communication is so very important to having a healthy relationship. Get her a charm bracelet. When she gives you a nickname, such as bear, you can get her a teddy bear charm to add to it. Tell her it means her bear is always with her, or something along those lines. I gotta think she has some kind of social learning disability, because using a nickname that originated with an X, and then telling her BF the origin story while thinking there wouldn't be any problem with it.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.